subsidize this whole event and try to give as much visibility to the startups there. So yeah, I'll tell you a little bit how we will go. So first we'll have about 2-minute introduction from the advisors, and then the two of the startups will go and do their own pitch. It's usually, they will take around 5 minutes to do their pitch, and then there will be a 10-minute Q&A with each of the advisors. So with further ado, shall we start with the advisors introduction? Let's do this order. So we do Jeremy, Rohan, and Pedro, if it's okay with you. So Jeremy, the floor is yours.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me. So Jeremy Baksht, I've been in and around data and tech for the last 20 or so years. I run a few different practices. I was a banker, I was an entrepreneur and an angel investor in over 50 companies. I've enjoyed crypto, blockchain, and Web3, watching, participating, evaluating, playing in and around over the last few years. I currently am an advisor to Mercury Fund in Texas on Web3 and blockchain. I also scout for some family offices, and then I run an AI and machine learning focused venture fund called Antifragile. So I like practical applications of blockchain, and I'm really looking forward to meeting everybody and learning more. I'm based out of New York. I typically do US deals, but I do have some perspectives around Central Europe and Eastern Europe. So I don't know if I'll be able to invest in anything I see today, but certainly we'll keep an open mind and would love to give and offer some feedback as I learn more about all of you.
Yeah, and of course, and also the ideas, right? If you know someone you can connect them with, that's also a great thing. If it's not either you can connect them to your network, right? So that's
Absolutely.
another.
My pleasure.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. So Rohan, glad to hear you.
Hey everyone, lovely to meet you all. Fascinating background, Jeremy, as well. So I'm Rohan. My day job is in finance, but I run London Blockchain Labs. We're sort of like primarily a student and graduate-led organization based in London across the main universities, so Imperial College London, University College London, and London School of Economics. And we effectively sort of like help advance blockchain education. We run our own events program. We have our own technical labs team. And we've also spawned out a couple of startups we've gone to raise and done very successfully as well. So there's that element here as well. Past background as well. So I spent a bit of time in venture capital with Included VC as a fellow, working with a number of funds like Microsoft's Venture Arm, M12, and a few other funds based in Europe. And also worked myself for Entrepreneur First as a student partner for them a while back. Done a bit of work myself in organizing large crypto communities from like members from 1,000 to about 60,000, primarily in the NFT space. So that's where I spend a lot of my time nowadays, degenning on the side, I guess. And I've also done a little bit of research in crypto during my postgraduate time at Imperial College London. So sort of familiar with technical aspects as well.
Thank you, Rohan. Pedro?
Sure. Thanks for having me here, Tomas. Hello to everyone. My name is Pedro Vera Martinez. I'm a fully qualified attorney in Germany, and Spain, and Mexico, specialized in IT, corporate, and finance law. During the course of my career, I've participated and led a number of M&A transactions, venture capital transactions, and advise companies in different sectors with regard to the implementation of IT solutions and innovative processes. I personally find blockchain technologies very interesting, especially in Germany, the country which I'm based, because I do believe it has a lot of potential. It's an untapped market, and the regulators are behaving in a very friendly way, so to say. So there's a lot of space to work and develop new ideas here in Germany and Europe altogether. That said, I specialize in negotiating and drafting agreements for each one of the lifetime cycles of IT services and software. And yeah, happy to be here.
It's great having you, Pedro. Thanks. And I'm sure you can help us and support us a lot. So this is the order that we will go. We will start with Adri from WorkQuest. So Adri, just feel free to share your screen and please take your 5 minutes. Try to keep it there within the 5 minutes, and then we have the 10 minutes with the Q&A. If everyone is fine with it, we do the same order. So Jeremy, Rohan, and Pedro, you give them their feedback, okay?
Okay, 1 second. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is Andrei Kotsur, and I am founder and CEO of WorkQuest. So WorkQuest is a global end-to-end job marketplace powered on smart contracts. So we are building a global platform to help solve the problem of not honest participations in the labor market, job search, and skilled workers. The platform will have a rating system and a system of reviews of both employees and employers. Blockchain will ensure a reliable data storage, reliability of reviews and ratings, and will help to conclude smart contracts between the employer and the employee. So when the work will be done, they can to pay in cryptocurrency. That will significantly reduce the cost of payments and also do better their speed and reliability. WorkQuest platform architecture. WorkQuest is the online marketplace and decentralized payment provider connecting employer with employees anywhere in the world, powered by smart contracts and governed by DAO. WorkQuest have a mobile application of WorkQuest platform and also making available working anywhere, and also we develop our own blockchain which called WorkNet blockchain, and release the WorkQuest wallet. So the platform motivates employers and employees to deal honestly and promptly using its the platform and reliable rating system with all of feedbacks which is stored in the blockchain. So as a platform, act as a facilitator of transaction between the employer and the employer, different DeFi products available for platform, such as savings, retirement, disability insurance, also liquidity mining, lending, borrowing, and so on. So our ecosystem included the WorkQuest DAO, which use like a management of whole ecosystem, WorkQuest wallet, and another DeFi functionality inside. Yes. About ecosystem, WorkQuest ecosystem include two tokens. So it's like transact with WSD and earn with WQT. So WorkQuest token, it's a management token of WorkQuest DAO. It's also used like a collateral for issue a WSD. It's a crypto collateralized stablecoin, and also used for referral program, available for liquidity mining. So WorkQuest token also using inside the WorkQuest DAO management, WorkQuest referral program, liquidity mining in Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum. Paid services on WorkQuest, like a promotion of employer and employees profiles, or boosting the job proposal, and also is like a reserve collateral fund. WSD is an algorithmic stablecoin and is used when the smart contracts between the employer and the employee is created. So we built 4 pools, like USDT, Ethereum, BNB, and WQT, which the user can provide like a collateral and issue some amount of stablecoin. So to better the understanding, this is something similar with DAI. So also stablecoin can be used in a lot of DeFi functionality inside the platform. Like so, the most thing is the payment between the employer and the employee. Also inside the P2P insurance program, withdraw to the bank card, exchange, or retirement saving program. So, for example, we already launched the testnet of our blockchain and also launched the WorkQuest platform, WorkQuest wallet, and the WorkQuest apps and WorkQuest wallet apps also. So right now also available is WorkQuest bridge, when the user can easily swap cross-chain bridge between the Binance Smart Chain and the Ethereum blockchain. And soon we will have a network is WorkNet, yes, our blockchain. So this is how actually the platform look. You can create the quest, you can use the map like to find some employees, yes. This is filter. You can check whole profiles, how many quests are really completed, reviews, portfolio, open quest, completed quest, total rating. Yes, you can invite the employee to complete the quest. So for example, this is how they can quest look. Yes, wallet, transact. So in WorkQuest token, WUSD, BNB, and Ethereum. Collateral transaction, then when you put some BNB on Ethereum like a collectible, yes, and of whole DeFi functionality, right? Retirement program, for example, you can choose the same amount of WSD, which will automatically collected to retirement program after you complete a whole quest, yes. Or for example, referral program to grow the user base, P2P insurance, like a decentralized fund insuring, yes. Saving product, also you can lock your say and earn in WorkQuest token or WSD, also lending and borrowing, liquidity mining, which already available in Uniswap and PancakeSwap. WorkQuest bridge, as I said before, between Ethereum and Binance chain. WorkQuest staking, also in WorkQuest token and WSD. And collateral, this is actually how they issue the stablecoin WSD. So already at this stage, this is our tokenomics. So already locked more than 63% of total allocation on WQT. We already listed on 2 decentralized exchange like Uniswap and PancakeSwap with locked liquidity, and of both, and 2 centralized exchange like MXC and Bitmart. This is our partners like Datami, our partners in security part, because right now we are in the testing stage and we do a lot of audits of security audits of whole smart contracts. So for example, coin liquidity solution, this is our partners like market maker. Cryptone Studio is like some of developers partner. So 1 year ago, we completed successfully IDO. This is some of our investor, like Kairos, like Dragon, Titan Ventures, and Prometheus Labs, and so on. So actually, in this quarter, we completed our roadmap. So we already launched the test network, and right now the most important thing is the successfully security audits of whole smart contracts, yes. And then we're preparing everything to main launch of main network.
That's great. Thanks a lot. It's really interesting. I think you have a really good product there. You know, it's a different way to do smart contracts. For me, I thought it was a great idea. So Jeremy, it's your turn. Take about 4 minutes. And remember, it's dynamic. You can ask him questions or just your feedback.
Yeah, no, look, I think my my feedback, without knowing too much more than what I've seen, is this this looks really thoughtful. Really impressive how you've set up the partnerships. I like how you've configured it. Maybe you could talk to us a little bit about virality. I mean, when I think about something like this, if you set up a perfect structure and a platform, if people use it, then it'll be incredibly valuable. If nobody ever uses it, then we're at a zero. So like any marketplace. So maybe you could talk a little bit about the virality quotient, how you're bringing on employees and employers. Are there bounty and promotion programs and staking and other elements with the token to excite people to bring referrals and bring references? But I certainly like what I see. It seems very kind of institutional grade, and you've clearly put a ton of energy into the engineering of it. So maybe you could talk a little bit more about the capture. I'd love to hear a bit more about that.
Yes, so actually, right now the main goal is complete the fully product launch, yes, and we are building a referral program which will include like a 10 million WorkQuest token when the user invite the employer and the employees, and after they complete some quest, successfully complete the quest and make the payments, the referrals will receive the rewards. Yes, so probably this program starting the end of this quarter and continue in next 1 year.
Got it. Okay. Good. And then in terms of like the I guess you've got the exchanges. How is the token trading so far? Is it fairly liquid, or is there some activity?
Actually fine. So we have around 150 local liquidity in PancakeSwap. It's something similar in Uniswap, and on like SEX exchanges is around 200K trading volume every day.
That's great. I don't have anything else. I think it looks very interesting.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Rohan.
Hey, Andre. So
Hello.
I love the idea. I think it seems pretty cool, and I think you're definitely onto something, and this is like directionally really interesting. I think what I'm interested in understanding and digging down a little bit more into is so one, I like the whole branding and everything of like quests. It's like a very Web3 native way to phrase like work tasks as quests, so that's pretty cool. So one of the things that I'd like to dig down and try and understand a little bit more is on the smart contracts regarding the work being done. How does that get verified? Is there some like Oracle involved?
So actually, we also have inside the despot system. If, for example, quest is completed at the moment when employer and the employees confirm that the job is completed. So if someone of them not complete the work is done, then they can open despot, and platform administrator will study the case and check what is the situation here. Yes.
Okay. So the platform admin has to step in, right? So there's an element. There would be an element
but only in the situation with when we have the some dispute. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think my only point there is that disputes could end up being like they'll still be, even if it's small, it'll still be like a significant thing to deal with, simply because employer-employee relationships, they either go well or they don't, right? So there are only like two default sort of binary states. And so I think something that you'll maybe, it could be a point to think through, and maybe I haven't understood it, and your solution is there, that how do we resolve this aspect specifically, because I think it could be a bigger one down the line. I think my other thoughts are there's quite a lot going on here, right? So this is like a platform connecting employers and employees with smart contracts. It's a marketplace as well. You're also, running your own DeFi stuff. You also have a DAO. You also have like an algo stable involved. So I've often seen this happen in blockchain, where a lot of people get very excited about tech, and it is super exciting to be into the tech and everything, but sometimes it gets a little over the top and it just brings in a lot more risks. So there's a risk here of smart contracts being hacked. The DAO just adds in a bit of complexity on governance. Algo stables have not been having a very successful wave recently, and they could fail. So I'd consider maybe having it backed if you even want it, or maybe just using another stable. And then obviously the marketplace model has the inherent risk of, well, you have to bring in the supply and you have to bring in the demand, right? So I think the point earlier made by Jeremy about the go-to market is definitely something you have to think about. But this is definitely in the right direction. I think you're onto something, and yeah, definitely just take in some of this feedback and reflect on it.
Yes, I totally agree with you. That's why actually we have around 5 or 6 more testing and do a lot of audits, then find some bugs. Actually, it's normal, and fix it and make more secure. So everything as usual. Yes.
I think that's everything for me, Thomas.
Thank you. Yeah, Pedro, lawyer.
Sure. Andre, I need to say your project is very innovative, and as you well know, innovation doesn't come without challenges. There are a couple of things that I would like to share with you. I see that you're offering two main services: employee relationships and financial services related to those relationships. First thing that I would like to say is that the smart contract technologies are not regulated in Germany. They're treated as typical contracts pursuant to the civil code. So as long as there's a manifestation of will between two parties, you are in principle on the safe side. on the other side, it really does depend which kind of contractual relationships you enter into and you facilitate. When you're talking about employment relationships, you need to take into consideration there are different kinds of employment relationships. You have the typical ones between an employer and an employee. You have leasing relationships, which is not a typical for IT services, and those services as an intermediary require that you have a specific license here in Germany. Which means you can't just, for example, pull or have a pool of talent and lease out to a potential employer. You need to have a license for that. So you definitely need to map how which kind of relationships you're thinking about facilitating through this technology. There's another point that you need to take into consideration. That's data privacy. Privacy regulations are tough here in the European Union. Germany is not an exception. So the processing activities and the processing processes themselves, they will really need to be mapped in a way in which they're compliant with the applicable legislation. Now, in connection to the other financial services, you mentioned retirement plans. You mentioned financial transactions. That's something that potentially requires you to get a license as well. So I do believe, coming back to what Rohan shared a couple of moments ago, that your service is very innovative. It is complex. And in some extents, your legal advisor would have to be very creative in trying to facilitate this process for you without requiring a specific licenses or without making it very cumbersome for you to start operating. So those are my 2 cents. But other than that, congratulations! It's a very innovative product.
Thank you for your recommendation. So at this stage, we also already registered company in Estonia and receive the crypto licenses in Estonia also. So then after the main launch, we will see and check and learn and study another jurisdiction and move step by step. Yes.
Right. That's my advice. A legal advisor should accompany you through the early stages of the processes. Ideally, a legal professional should have the chance to check your product before it goes live, so do you play on the safe side. So having said that, the panel here offers a possibility to connect you with legal professionals. I believe that Tomas is going to share that information after the call.
Great.
So yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think mostly for the European Union, right? I think we can provide you, right? And this relationship, employee-employer, they're usually top here, right? So.
Yes.
Great. So I think if you cancel your screen share, Adri, thanks a lot for everything. And Vlad, the floor is yours.
Hello, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for organizing this event. Thank you for this opportunity and for such great support. My name is Vlad. I'm CBDO at GT Protocol, and I will share my screen now. One moment. Can you see it now? Yes, great. So our project calls GT Protocol, which means Global Traders Protocol. And we create a solution for DeFi investment pools management on decentralized and centralized exchanges. And this means that, for investors, we provide a solution and access, one-click access to DeFi and CeFi investment and trading strategies. And for business, for example, for professional traders, for organizations, entities, for crypto VCs, we provide a technology which allows to create a DeFi smart contract pool, which allows to collect investments from investors and to manage these collected investments on decentralized and centralized exchanges. And the main point is that cooperation between parties, between investors and pool creators, is based on a profit sharing model. So investors, they pay just % from their profit, success fee, at the end of cooperation. And that is heart of our technology, pretty custom and unique development of our team, and it allows pool owners and contributors to cooperate through the smart contract. Pool owners, they can create new pools using Head smart contract factory. After pool is created, investors can deposit funds to the pool, can provide liquidity, and after that, pool owners, they can start to manage this collected liquidity on the centralized or centralized exchanges. The main point is that technology is fully decentralized, so that is non-custody solution, and pool owner, he doesn't have any private keys from the smart contract. He can't withdraw funds, he can't send funds to any address in the blockchain. He's only allowed to manage assets on whitelisted exchanges and platforms, and he only can trade with whitelisted trade pairs and coins which have significant trading volume and liquidity. Technology also could be used for different purposes. For example, it could be used by professional traders to create pools for social trading. But besides of that, we are not limited only with trading. Also, GT protocol could be used, for example, by professional investors or asset managers to create pools for portfolio management, for example, for yield farming. Also, there is use case for crypto VCs. They can use GT protocol to gain additional liquidity from anonymous investors, from users of our platform, and they can manage this liquidity on decentralized exchanges. So that is use case for decentralized hedge fund. We also have use cases for GameFi guilds, for NFT investors, traders, for QLs, for IDO projects like fundraising pools. So basically, any organization or private person which does some profitable crypto activity on the market can use GT protocol to cooperate with investors on transparent, secured, and decentralized model. And to make it clear, we have several products. So the first one, that is DeFi technology, which we discussed just now. And besides of that, we already have a platform that is active and launched for more than 1 year. That is our platform for algorithmic trading and copy trading on centralized exchanges. And in this platform, we have pretty amazing performance and track record in terms of user acquisition. When we launched the platform, we had just 200 users, and we achieved more than 25,000 registered users. And all these people joined our platform just because of word of mouth spreading and users' recommendations to each other. Use case is pretty simple. Investors, they get access to marketplace of top traders of the platform. In this marketplace, they can review performance of each trader, and they can see details profitability graph for last half a year, history of all previously closed deals, details about each deal open price, profit price. And based on that, they can choose any of these traders and start to follow them and copy all of them automatically. Also, in this platform, we have an official partnership with the Binance Exchange. So we are authorized broker of the Binance. And this partnership is also active for more than half a year, and all benefits are available to users. And one of the greatest thing for people that users, they can create new Binance accounts through the interface of our platform just in one click. And they don't need to spend a lot of time for onboarding on the exchange and passing KYC, 2FA, creating API keys, passing quizzes to activate features account. And all these steps could be avoided through our platform just in one click. And we have pretty active community in Telegram. Every time when some user receives a report about successfully closed deal, people feel amazing emotions. They feel excited. When some user gets up in the morning, when he takes his phone and when he sees 5, 6, or even 7 notifications about successfully closed deals during the night, people feel excited, and because of these emotions, they would like to share this success with friends. So they really spread this trading reports in Telegram, in Facebook, in Twitter, in socials. They even have offline meetings to introduce their friends to the product, and they help each other to set up the account and to launch it for trading. And exactly of this great performance and a lot of positive feedbacks on our centralized product, we were inspired to build DeFi technology, which has similar use case, but has much more advantages over centralized model, and also not limited only with trading, but also could support more strategies and investment, not just trading strategies, but also investment strategies on DeFi market. So that is DeFi technology is also a bridge between centralized markets and DeFi markets. Also, we were contacted by other centralized exchanges, Hobby, OKX, Gate. They contacted us and they offered us a partnership to become their broker. We have the partnership with Binance. And centralized exchanges, they are interested in us because our users, they generate huge trading volume, and centralized exchanges earn trading fee, and they also split 50% of trading fee with us as their partner, and that is one of our revenue stream. Also, right now, we on the private round stage. So the DeFi protocol technology is under development right now and will be released in several months. Centralized product is already live and active. And right now we are doing IDO, we have private round is ongoing. In seed round, we also have it's almost closed, but we have some reserve for strategic partners and for top tier VCs who could join us on the last call in last minute. In terms of public round, we are going to have IDO on such top tier launch pads like Infinity Pad by the Maker team, Pools, TrustPad, ScaleSwap. And in terms of centralized exchanges, we are in negotiations with KuCoin, Hobby, and Gate. With Hobby, we already passed their due diligence, and they confirmed us for initial exchange offering and launch through Hobby Prime list. They made us an offer, and now we are reviewing their offer and waiting for offers from other centralized exchanges. We are going to have public round and token generation event and listing in May. And right now, we are on the stage of preparations in terms of marketing. From technical point of view, we are fully ready. We have vesting solution, we have staking solution, we have market makers, anti-snipe bot protection. So right now we prepare marketing and we'll launch soon. Mostly that is all from my side. Would be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you so much for your attention.
Vlad, I think I'm the first batter here. I would just tell you that this is really, really exciting. I watched the rise of the traders on StockTwits and Tip Ranks and Yoni's eToro, and I think you're really building something of value. Really like this. On the financial model, is it all subscription based? I know you showed us the follow traders. Are you also getting flow and transaction fees as well from the brokers and market makers?
So in centralized product, right now we use subscription model. So people need to buy monthly subscriptions. In DeFi protocol, people will pay only person from say profit, profit sharing fee, and platform will be available for them without any prepayments. And that is very good because when users need to buy subscriptions, that is some artificial barrier for them. And also we are, as I told before, we receive rebate payments from centralized exchanges. They split with us 50% of generated trading fees, and that is one of our revenue stream. Yeah.
Very, very interesting. And I really like on your token metrics how you've been, what I would suggest is very modest on raising the price as you go through the rounds. It seems like you've been pretty sensible about not going too fast and raising prices. I don't know much about the competitive landscape. Are there other businesses like this? I'm just not familiar.
Yeah, of course. Originally, we have a lot of competitors, a lot of platforms. Most of them on early stage, or like there are some projects who have like working products for several years, but they don't have users at all because they are too complicated. They are like built for professional traders, and they're like completely difficult for beginners and newcomers. In terms of like the most popular competitors, we have such platforms like Tomas, Signally, DXC network, and in terms of competition, our great advantage that is like our onboarding, because to use competitors' platforms, users need to spend 40 minutes at least to launch the account for trading and to pass onboarding till the end. In our case, the platform will be available just like in several clicks, and any user will be able to join any pool like just by connecting MetaMask wallet to the web application. On the next step, users just need to choose any of available pools which they would like to join, and to click deposit button and to enter deposit amount. That's all. Like they just need to sign transaction through MetaMask, and they become pool members. Also, they like in competitive products, users also need to buy subscriptions. And for some users, it could be unprofitable, especially for users from developing countries who have like small deposits, because if you have just like, for example, $100 in your pocket, it's not profitable for you to buy subscription, which costs, for example, $40. In DeFi pools, users could join any pool for free and pay just % from their profit at the end of cooperation, and that is like also boosts conversion rate and onboarding. In terms of technology, we have also great advantage because all competitors, they use like wallet to wallet copy trading model, which means there is a wallet of trader and there are wallets of investors. And first of all, deal should be executed on the wallet trader, and after that, some time after that, deal could be executed on investors' wallets. And because of time, price on the exchange could be changed. It could go too high or could go down, and deal will be executed for investors on different price. And it's very often becomes like a reason for a loss. And if you review feedbacks like in internet about like centralized copy trading platforms, you will see a lot of like feedbacks about this issue, and people really lose funds. And sometimes even liquidity could, like order book could be not filled, and sometimes deal could be not closed at all for some of investors. And that is like the slippage issue. But in terms of our case, just by the design of the technology, we solved this issue, because in our case, all investors, they deposit funds just to one pool, to the one smart contract. And this means that all investors will participate in the deal just in one transaction at same time and at same price. And it's also like eco-friendly, because if like 1,000 investors follow the trader in competitive products, to execute a deal, they need to sign 1,000 transactions in the blockchain. And in case of our product, for one deal, only one transaction will be executed, and that is like very good in terms of transaction fees and costs, and like electricity and like nature. Also, like competitors, they're focused mostly on centralized exchanges, and we support both like centralized and decentralized markets. And like that is like main advantages in our technology, yeah, in terms of competition.
I think it's great, Vlad. Well, I know Rohan and Pedros will have technical and legal implications to ask you about, so I'll hop, but I like what I saw. It looks very interesting.
Thank you so much.
Rohan.
Hey, Vlad. Great presentation, by the way. You really spoke well, and you clearly know the ins and outs of your product super well. So that was good job. I was really impressed with the partnerships. I think you've done a great job of building your strategic partnerships. And I also had a look at your Medium article as well, and I'm just seeing like one partner signed after another. So clearly the business development is going pretty well. I think one of the kind of like hypotheses that you're going to be testing is, well, do people actually want like decentralized and centralized exchange pools in one place? I don't know if they do yet, and it's something that I think you'll be validating by doing this exercise, but I think you're going about it in the right way for sure. I've got a quick question just on the user growth. So I saw that there was a bit of a jump between like February to March or something in terms of user growth last year, maybe. What did you start like marketing it differently then, or something else?
So mostly like we didn't do any marketing at all. Like we were focused on product development and like new features development and product improvements. And all these users, they visited the platform like organically. There was some like influencers who also visited the platform and tried it, and they liked it. So like they did some reviews for free, like we didn't pay for it, and because of this reviews, we also received like some huge amount of traffic and amount of new users. And also we have a referral program which inspire people to invite their friends and like share invite links in network. Yeah, so like that is the reason of like dynamic of the growth. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Definitely, I think especially the influencers will definitely buff up the numbers. But it seems like the traction is fairly good, so definitely keep it up. I think one thing that I would say to you as well, and I think this probably applies to the other team previously too. And I've seen some startups pitching who often do this and they don't realize it. But typically when a VC or an investor is looking at a project at a really early stage, they don't have very much information to go off, right? And so I think you spoke about the product really well, and same with the previous one with Andre. But tell us a little bit more about yourself as well. Tell us a bit more about yourself and your team in like 30 seconds to a minute. I mean, you don't necessarily have to do it now, or you can do it next time or whatever. But I think in the early stages, the investors are making a bet on people's execution abilities, and they need to know why you're special and capable of doing this. And I think just speaking a little bit about yourself in that context, for anyone here as well, any of the startups, that really helps. And also just add in a little bit about the market size as well. It's just something that they're used to. A lot of them come from like consulting backgrounds, just even if it's not fully accurate or it's like whatever. And I mean, you can message me afterwards and I can talk to you about like ground up, bottom up analysis or top down analyses. But it helps just kind of have some sense of weaving together like why you're building this product and why the product is amazing and why the product is going to map directly onto this massive market. Just add in those things a little bit, and I think you're really good.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Got it. In terms of like some information about the team and myself, like we were cooperate with each other like for more than 9 years. Like we started software development company 9 years ago, and for last 5 years we were focused on the blockchain and cryptocurrency development. Like we developed solution for customers, custody wallets, lending platforms like NFT marketplaces, and since 2019 we started this our own project. We were involved in trading. We traded for ourselves, and we used like some software automation solutions, but all of them were not good enough, and they had a lot of bugs which could cause losses. So we decided to build our own solution, and after we launched it, we shared it with our friends and from our network with traders, and we were like surprised because they started to share products to each other, like to their own friends, and that is how we attracted like first like 200 customers. Like we have right now we have like around 30 people in the team, and that is like all in-house team, like not out staff or like outsource. And that is like general information about the team. Yeah. Thank you for asking this question.
Thanks. I think that's everything from me.
Thanks. Pedro?
So I'll jump in. Vlad, thank you very much for the very insightful presentation. The first thing that I would like to share with you is that the provision of intermediary financial services might be subject to regulation depending on the nature of the assets. So from that perspective, I would like to ask you, tell us more about the nature of the assets? Are you thinking about exchanging and non-fungible tokens, cryptos, or are you also thinking about exchanging legal tender and other financial instruments? How's it going to look like?
So like for right now, we are focused exactly on cryptocurrency markets. So like it's like about cryptocurrency assets like NFTs as well. As I told before, there is use case for NFT pools and investments. It's like we are like right now we are not aiming to reach like some like classical stocks or markets, and for now we are totally focused on cryptocurrency. Yeah.
That is a very good approach, because at the very beginning, what you definitely want to avoid is to be in a position in which you need to have a banking license. That requires a super heavy investment and a lot of resources and so on and so forth. And it's not the way it's not the direction in which you want to walk at the very beginning. So from that perspective, I think you're playing on the safe side, which doesn't compromise scalability and profitability. There's something else that I would like to understand. You mentioned that you have partnership with Binance. What is this partnership exactly? What did it do for you?
So so that is like broker partnerships. That means that like we are official brokers of Binance, and this means that users, they get access to Binance platform and services through our platform and through our interface. As I mentioned before, thanks to this partnership, we provide an option for people to create new Binance accounts through our platform just in one click. And that is like example of these accounts. Like people can deposit funds, they can withdraw funds, they can trade funds on these accounts, and these accounts hosted exactly on the Binance exchange and managed by their team. So like we are not a custody, and Binance team is like it's responsible from technical point of view for management of these accounts. Also, like we have like direct access to the Binance technical team, and like they pretty active in communication with us. They also like invite us always to participate in like different trading tournaments. And in terms of partnership, they split like generated trading fees by our users with us as with their partner. So like that is main like bullet points of this cooperation. Yeah.
Great. That's a very good approach. It's not necessarily to invent the black thread. Whenever you have the possibility to learn from other players in the market, you should definitely do that. One thing that I would definitely take into consideration when negotiating partnership agreements is intellectual property. I assume that your technology is going to develop innovative processes and so on and so forth, and that's information and as a matter of fact an asset that you want to keep for yourself. That's going to impact the evaluation of your company, that's going to impact your development possibilities. So it is very important that you pay a lot of attention to intellectual property in your agreements. A final question, you might be aware of the fact that the European Union strengthened the KYC regulations for cryptocurrency a couple of weeks ago. How exactly are you implementing those developments in your business model?
So in terms of regulation, like there are two fields here. Like first of all, we create DeFi technology, which means that there is like smart contracts which are deployed in the blockchain, and that is like a technology which could be used by any like market participant through the blockchain, even without like our web application. And there is like smart contracts which are not controlled by anyone. And of course, users will use like our front end and our web application, because that is like convenient option for them to interact with the platform. So like for DeFi pools, it will be possible to use them without KYC, because trading will be executed like on decentralized exchanges. In terms of trading on centralized exchanges, because like there will be some pools which will be managed on centralized exchanges, such type of pools would for some type of pools, it will be necessary to pass KYC on the platform. Yeah, because it will be required by centralized exchanges, which will host this trading. Yeah.
Right, Vlad. I just want to make you. I just want to share with you that as the provider of intermediary services, you do have obligations regarding anti-money laundering and KYC regulations. So you can always outsource them. You can always rely on a different partner or on an external service or structure, but the obligation rests within you and your organization, and it's very important to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Absolutely agree. We already like for right now we passed like legal audit with Axon Partners, that is like a legal firm from legal 500 list, and it was like legal audit in terms of security or like utilities of our token, and our token for now is like a pure utility. And we are going to continue cooperation like with all legal partners in terms of regulations, and we will follow like requirements of centralized partners as well. Yeah.
That sounds excellent, Vlad. Well, congratulations, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Appreciate. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, this has been great. I have talked to all of you one-on-one, but I think it went really well. You know, I'm surprised how much smart people we have here in the room, both from our advisors and the startups. Really, guys, congrats. You know, I think it went really well. So this is, we have the last 10 minutes of the event. Is each of the advisors will give their own conclusion and also how can they support you. And this is a moment to reach out, the interest. Of course, we can provide all of the connections, emails, whatever is needed. So this is on our side. So let's shift it a little bit around. Let's do Rohan, Pedro, and Jeremy. That's the order. So just your conclusion of the event, of the two startups, how you want to proceed, and that's the way to go.
Wow, well, the event's been great. Thanks. I wish we could do it for longer. But yeah, no, I think you guys are on good tracks, definitely. Take into account all the advice you've gotten today. I think one thing that I want you to not do is don't worry too much. Like, all of us have given you advice from different perspectives. All of us are see the world from different perspectives. So we spot problems from different perspectives, and we can I can see technical or business development ones. Pedro could see, legal ones as well. Jeremy has quite like a holistic overview as well. You guys should definitely keep doing what you're doing. Just factor these things into account. I think the nature of running a startup is that you're fighting fires as they come up. So just yeah, carry on from that perspective. In terms of how we can help, I think based on what I said earlier in terms of the pitches, tighten up the pitches, especially in terms of team, product, market. Just fixate on those a little bit and get your stories right. This especially, I think startups that come out of Eastern Europe especially often have people who are technically very, very, very good, which is a great thing. But sometimes on the storytelling or on the sales aspect, they aren't as good. And the sales aspect is essential to crack, because to any investor, you're telling them a story and you're selling yourself as well as the product, as well as the company. And so I want you guys to tighten up on that a little bit, which I have no doubt that you can do. And I think from there, just get the pitch really concise in the sort of, you've got a pitch deck format, but clean it up according to those specifications. And then I'm happy to take a look at it and pass it on to investors. I'm not currently investing myself right now, but I do know a lot of people who are still from my VC time. So I'm very happy to pass on the decks to them, and then you can have a chat. And yeah, if there's anything else I can help with in terms of advising on the product or advising on how you can frame the story and the team, I'm very, very happy to help and be available. And if you need talent as well, because I know like the hiring element sort of like in the crypto space is like insane right now. Everybody wants crypto talent and there's hardly any available. Just let me know. I've got a pool of students and people who are available for internships and part-time work. So if you need that, just hit me up anytime.
Thank you, Rohan.
Thank
Pedro.
you.
Sure, guys. Adri, Vlad, congratulations. I empathize with you on different levels. First of all, you're very competent. You have very good ideas, and the current geopolitical situation forces all of us to keep on developing on new technologies and keep on supporting each other. Having said that, I will be more than happy to follow up on your projects. Tomas has my contact details. We can of course keep on having conversations on the potential legal impacts of your business models on a pro bono basis at the very beginning, and then we'll figure out a way how to work together. I have a private practice aside from my full-time job. So having said that, then yet again, congratulations. Very interesting. It was a pleasure to listen to you, and feel free to reach out to me at any time.
Thank you.
Just to double click on what was said, I think Tomas did a great job of, frankly, look, maybe cherry picking a bunch of companies, because you never know what to expect with these events. So you always start with a little bit of cynicism. As a VC with a few different hats, I always think about odds, because I've been a founder before too, and it's sort of like 1 out of 100 times a VC is going to say yes. It's typical, but we all like to believe we're better than everybody else and we have a better chance. Now, having said that, these two companies really seem fantastic, so I definitely want to encourage you to keep going, and clearly you both have a lot of traction. The challenge, I think, for your region and for how you think, I know has been brought up, but I love the idea of expanding out the lens of why. I think it's always about why. If you think about a venture capitalist, we all run closed-end funds. So you take in money from investors, you've got 2 to 4 years to deploy it, and you see a ton of deals. So you've got to think about, is this deal going to return the fund? Is this deal going to be life-changing for people, for the entrepreneur, for everybody involved? Otherwise, you're like not that excited. So I would take a step back on WorkQuest specifically and think about, okay, a lot of people use LinkedIn. What's wrong with LinkedIn? You're almost assuming we know what the problem is. Some people find LinkedIn a little droll or pedantic, but I think I'd rather hear, look, Andre has observed, all this workforce change, all the people changing jobs, and that one of the biggest problems employers have is, frankly, people being honest. So having some sort of tamper-proof, piece to this is really why people care. The liquidity part, some of the other cool things and features, they're really smart, but they're features. Think about me in like the US, like LinkedIn's kind of pedantic, but so what? I use it. I have 31,000 followers. I like it. That's how I check people out. I check companies out. To convince me to move into WorkQuest is pretty hard, because I'm like, hey, look, I don't have an issue. And if I back channel, I'll find out if somebody's lying. So I would just take a step back and think about, you've built some really cool stuff, and I have no idea how hard it was to build everything you've built, but I would almost take a step back and make sure you inspire people on, this is why I'm going to change the market. This is how important this is to change. This is how we're changing it. And I would stick to that. But I do see a lot of potential and progress there. And I think you'll see a lot of VCs be very cynical about areas that have been tried really hard before, whether it's optimizing travel, optimizing jobs. These are like very obvious problems that are really hard. So they have to think about, why are you uniquely qualified to cross the chasm? So I'd encourage you to sort of build that part of your repertoire more. But don't get me wrong, I don't mean to pick on you. I think, look, it's a really interesting company. So I do know a few blockchain groups, Dragonfly and some others. So I'm happy to try and push it around to them. My issue is, as I sit in the US, most investors are terrified of outside of US, but I will do my best to try to be helpful. So no worries there. Vlad, I'm much more familiar with sort of these trading networks. One of my startups was called Estimize. It was bought by Extract Alpha. So we were kind of in that whole StockTwits, TradingView, TipRanks camp. So I immediately resonate with what you're doing. It's very obvious to me. As people are adopting crypto, they don't necessarily know what to buy. They don't necessarily know who to follow. So you setting up this, really, really smart system to follow successful people totally makes sense to me. So keep up the virality component, keep trying to build the network. These things are fill or kill. People either resonate and it stays active and they have really high daily active users, people get followed, people are successful, or they don't. It seems like you're building the right momentum, and I think the product's necessary. So, definitely resonate with that one very well too.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. I'm so sad it's over, but we can still connect. We're gonna post things in social media. So let's connect and keep going, keep growing.
Congrats, guys. Keep going.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.